I wanted to go back to when you were talking about, we were talking about self carriage and something. I'm just curious about your thoughts about this because it's something I've thought about. There's proper self carriage, proper biomechanics that gets talked about with the horses a lot. But I even just thinking about my four horses, they each have some physical stuff, right?
Hmm.
That's going on, prior injuries, scar tissue. One has a bit of a club hoof, one has some stifle issues. They've got stuff, just like all humans have stuff.
Hmm.
And if someone were to come to me, I have stuff in my body, and they would say, this is how you need to hold your body to do it, to be in proper position to do this. I might say, you don't understand though, that with my back issue, that doesn't work for me. I can do it like this. I might not
Right.
look perfect, but this actually is better for my body. So I
Right.
often wonder when everyone's like trying to get this perfect, picture perfect image of what biomechanics is like, isn't it a little different for every horse?
It is. And I mean, I think it is. So, and that's funny because this is now you've opened up a whole nother can of worms, Kim, because my background is in physical education and athletic training.
Which is
So,
partly why I wanted to ask you this. Yes.
um, so yeah, I mean, same thing with athletes of all there's a proper pitching technique, but when you break down and watch in slow motion some of these, you know, professional pitchers that throw the ball over 100 miles an hour, you would be like, that's not what you want to teach your child to do, you know, but that's what is best for them. And it was really funny. When I was in school, we there was a really interesting trend in the running industry, and probably I think so that was in the 90s, and I guess probably in the 80s and 90s there was a big push for like corrective shoes, like shoes that made your foot like the perfect foot and that would make you run properly. And all these
Right.
running stores, all these running shoe companies came into it, they all got into it. And 10 years down the road, what they found was there were more injuries. People
Mm.
were having more, especially more overuse injuries from that. And so then we went into the Vibram era. You remember, like the Skella shoes with the toes, the barefoot shoes, right?
Yes.
That was like
Yeah. It's a good
that was like
opposite.
the next level. It was like we went from this like, perfect shoe to like nothing because that's the best natural way. Whatever your foot is, that's the way it should be. And now it's sort of come back into more of a balance. And it was funny though, like I was actually shopping for a pair of running shoes, and this was probably 15 years ago or whatever now, but and I remember the guy, saying to me, "Hey, like what, what's your running style?" And I was like, "Look, man, I don't run, but I know what you're talking about. I just need them for walking and standing around." And he laughed, but like, yeah, and the same thing is true for horses. I mean, you know, proper biomechanics. I mean, I look at it as what you're trying to achieve from that proper biomechanics. So if you're trying to achieve self carriage and even like a degree of collection, what's comfortable for that horse? Like if I have to micromanage it, it's not comfortable for that horse.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
right, so I'm, I'm very much about playing with it. And, and I even tell my students, I'm like, you got to figure it out. I mean, I can tell like when your horse is moving well, I can tell you. But for a lot of it, you're going to have to just play around and what creates that movement and then remember
And
it.